welcome everyone. Thanks everyone for coming to our Teaching JavaScript webinar. We'll give it just a couple of minutes to let everyone come in, and then we will get started. Welcome, welcome. I see some familiar names. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. As you guys are coming in, I am putting the link to our slides in the chat for you. However, Carmen will spend most of her time actually in the platform working through the JavaScript course, but we will be putting those slides in for you. I'll add them a couple more times as people come in. Welcome. All right, so this is a 2-hour webinar about JavaScript, getting started with JavaScript, and then maybe some deeper stuff as we go through. And I did put the link to the slides in here. I'll put them in here again for you. All right, we will get started. So my name is Robin. I am a professional development specialist with CodeHS, and I was a high school teacher for 15 years, and I used CodeHS in my classroom, and I used it to teach myself computer science. And also today we have with us Leanne Grant, who's going to be in the background, manning some questions that come in and comments in the chat. And we also have Stephanie in the background, who's going to be doing the same thing, both PD specialists at CodeHS. And then we have Carmen with us today. Carmen is going to be, hello. Carmen is going to be the one in charge today. She is a teacher, and she is also a teacher trainer for CodeHS, which means that she is amazing at what she does and very familiar with CodeHS, and so she will be able to answer your questions. And I am going to let her take off and lead this. Oh, by the way, I do want to make a couple of notes, and it will come up later on in the slides, but I do want to say before we get started that we have 2 areas where you can ask questions. We have the chat. So if you look down at the bottom of your screen, it'll say chat. And when you click on that, you can chat with everyone. If you use the little drop down, you can choose everyone. And so everyone will be able to see your questions or your answers. And then you can also do a Q&A with us. So the Q&A is also listed at the bottom of your screen. And the Q&A would be if you have any questions for the PD specialists about CodeHS. So if you have questions for Leanne, Stephanie, or I about CodeHS, you can send those questions in the Q&A. And any of your questions for Carmen can go in the chat. And we're going to be monitoring the chat for Carmen. That way she doesn't have to keep looking back and forth at the chat and then also at what she's doing. So every so often we'll stop Carmen and we will let her know there are some questions, or she can stop and ask if there are any questions. And then we'll get your questions answered at that time. Hopefully that all makes sense. All right, take it away, Carmen.
Okay, so welcome everyone. As Robin said, I will probably be in the platform for most of the presentation. But just to get started, if you want to jump in the chat and just say where are you located, have you used CodeHS, just so that, I know it's a webinar method, but at least we know each other a little bit. You can just drop those in there. while you do that, I will tell you, I have been using CodeHS. I tried to do the math, but I'm pretty sure it was since 2014. I'm almost positive. So it's been a while. I've seen the platform grow, and like every day it gets more amazing. And, I still get surprises sometimes when I log in. I'm like, oh my gosh, they added this. This is like the best. So I love it. I love all the new courses they keep adding. Those, an amazing catalog. So as far as I teach it at a high school level, I actually teach a combined class. I only teach 2 hours a day because I have another job at the school with all the databases. But I love it. And I have several courses combined, and I couldn't do that without CodeHS. I mean, it would be impossible. So having this flexibility of the platform has allowed me to give to the kids. Like some kids really wanted to do cybersecurity. I'm like, well, the school doesn't mind that I only have one student as long as they're all in the same room and they only pay me for the 1 hour. So it's been really fun. All right. I see that we have from all kinds of places. Kentucky, Indiana, Virginia. Wow. Very nice. All over. I'm in California, by the way, in Southern California. Okay. I do have to close the chat so I can move. If you don't have a CodeHS account at all, like if you haven't used it at all and this is your first, you can create a free account right here. CodeHS.com, sign up. And you can use this platform completely free. Okay, now I have the pro account, so I'm going to be showing you some of the pro features just because I use them so much that they just built into my routine. But it can be done without the pro. So if your school doesn't have the money for it, However, if you do want your school to pay for it and you just haven't convinced them, if you send me an email sometime, I'll put my email somewhere, I can give you some ways that you can persuade your administrators. I'm very good at that. I'm not the one that needs to be persuaded by the teachers because I'm in charge of the educational technology. I can tell you what works and what doesn't. So now we are going to use a workshop that you'll be able to play in, not at the beginning, but this is the link. So just go ahead and be registered so we don't waste the time later for you to register. But you don't actually have to do anything in there until I guide you there. I'm not just throwing you in the workshop and say good luck. So just gonna go there and I can see if you are in there because I can go to the roster. So that way you know that you should all start be showing, oh, look at you. You guys are experts at this. Awesome. Perfect. Now it's 29 in the chat and only 8 students. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to get here. I'll go back to the screen. Here I go. So if you already have an account, you can just enroll with this code right here, 44A8D. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, let's see how we doing. Okay, it's getting better. Wow, I want to waste too much time, but if you even just write that down, the code is really what you need.
I can put it in the chat too a couple more times as you're going.
Perfect. Okay. Now, don't forget to click on this so you get, this is, Robin, this is so they get a certificate, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that should also be in the chat. Make sure you get those PD hours. I know how valuable those can be.
Yes, you should, once you click on the link, and I did put the link in the chat, it'll just say thank you for attending. That'll just pop up on the screen, but you will get a certificate emailed to you.
So that's also in the chat. So this is today's agenda. First, I'm going to do an overview of the course, just how it's laid out, how the lessons are laid out. Then we'll look at a couple of lessons, and then we'll do, well, not quite a breakout session. I forgot to fix the agenda, but we'll talk about individualizing the things. Okay. So, you know, now what is CodeHS? It's I can already tell you, it's a comprehensive platform for teaching computer science for middle school and high schools, which is exciting because they keep expanding, you know, to more middle school content as well. So for the middle school teachers. And I'll be honest, I may have used some of the middle school lessons with my freshmen. Just, you know, it all depends on who you get in your room, okay? Just don't tell them it's middle school content, you know? It's great, all right? It's web-based, online and offline professional development. And I mean, because I only teach 2 hours a day, so I don't have my own classroom. I have an office. So every year I'm in a different classroom, and I don't care because you know what I have to bring with me? A laptop. And that's it. Everything is in there. You know, I may sometimes bring, like, you know, my little turtle when I do the turtle lessons, and a little doggy for Carol, but, you know, outside of that, it's pretty much on the laptop. So it's beautiful. It does great feedback, great submission ideas, great. I mean, there's so many tools that I'm going to walk you through that if you have not used the platform before, you're going to be amazed. All right. So let me go to the platform. So I'll actually go ahead and go to my dashboard just so you can see what it looks like. All right. So now these are the courses I taught last year. So you can see they're still here. I actually taught more. I just haven't archived this because I have some kids that wanted access during the summer. But this is all your courses, okay? And this menu right here, anytime, you know, you hit dashboard, it's going to bring you right here. So this is the course that we're in today. And right here, this manage student accounts, you know, or this little thing. If you've been with students, you know they forget their passwords all the time, okay? So easy. Right here, you can change their password, okay? You can communicate with them, you know, like one-on-one conversation with that student. So these tools are really nice. You can also do badges and look at their other practice. But right here, this one, I use it a lot, change password. Also, manage student accounts. Sometimes, you know, you can do, like, if they need to fix, like, their email, they didn't put the right email, you can actually fix it for them and stuff like that. The attendance one is another one I use a lot as well, although now they have an even better one I'll show you. But especially, you remember those COVID days? Man, I lived in this space, right? I had to know that they were logging in, how long they, and it says active time, see? Most recent activities, not just, because, you know, kids will log in and then go to another tab and do something else, but that doesn't count, all right? And, you know, they'll be at me like, how did you know? And I'm like, I know it, you know, because we can see it. A total actual time of work. So very useful. All right. Also from this screen, I use it sometimes to just go into, like, a kid, if I want to know exactly where they are, you know, and they're like, oh, here they're stuck, you know, be something in red or whatever, and I can go straight there. Now, there's many ways to do this, obviously, but that's one way. Okay. Now let me show you assignments. Now, this is the out-of-the-box course, okay? These are the modules it comes with, and I'll walk you each module, each lesson is the exact same setup. It's just beautiful because the kids get into a rhythm. You know, they know what to expect. I have some kids that, you know, they don't know what's going to happen. Like they're not comfortable. So I always go through them and tell them every lesson, you're going to expect the same thing. You're going to have a video that introduces the lesson, okay, the concepts, followed by a quiz. Did you understand what you just watched, right? And even in the quizzes, it's up to you. You can let them retake them as many times as they need to. You can let them see the answers correct. It's all up to you, depending on how you want to run your course. Then it has examples on, you know, how to use the concepts, and then the exercises. This is what it comes with now. You can add new assignments to it. You can delete assignments. You can completely customize this. But if it's your first year, I wouldn't touch it. You know, I would leave this as is, you know, unless you're really comfortable. But it's perfect. So anyway, you can see they're all exactly the same. You can also search. Sometimes the kids, you'll hear this sometimes, they'll take a test and they're like, oh, we never went over that, you know, CodeHS never had anything about that. I'm like, well, let me search. And you can search exactly what, you know, the ball one is. Yeah. Anyways, you can, you know, look anything, you can, it will come up with where it is in the lessons. You can even see pancakes. There it is. Anything you can search for. I use the tool a lot. All right, now, besides this, you also have this search for content, which is also, I mean, this is easy to assign if you wanted to. Some of these are very challenging, that you know in advance, but they can be great to assign to those. When we talk at the end about individualization of the content, these are things that you can assign to some kids and not others. All right. Every year I notice that some kids are just really good and they can understand, and I don't want to be the one that holds them back. So I assign more content with them. But I don't want to put all of these to begin with and get the, you know, everyone overwhelmed. So that's, now if you actually want to go into one of the exercises, just to show you another tools that all the exercises have. Don't worry about doing this right now. Just want to show you up here. Okay. With every exercise, you have, and this is what the students have, docs. Okay. So they can always look here. I help my students, but I also like to make them as self-sufficient as possible, right? Because that then they're learning the concept better. They're having to look for it and read it and, oh, here's the answer. So I make them very familiar with the docs page. And usually it comes right to their, like, so they, whatever the assignment is on, when they click on docs, at least it used to always come up to that page that's relevant. But if not, obviously they can look up here for everything. Anyway, so the docs page is really nice. And then right here, this is something they never, if you don't tell them, they're never going to figure this out. But if you hit in slides, the student can actually have this, all the videos come in slides. So when they're working on it, they can have right here, you know, the actual slides and their notes if they take notes. So if they took notes during the video, which I always tell them to, they'll have their notes as they're working on the exercise. They don't have to go to a different tab. They don't have to, you know, it's all right there for them. So these are really great tools. The textbook is also great if they're in the sandbox and they want to do some other stuff that you're not on. That's great for them to move around. Now, as a teacher, obviously you also have the teacher page. And this is great amount of tools, but just right here, it will tell you how long they took on an activity. I know as teachers, we're always concerned with cheating, especially now with artificial intelligence, where they can literally put down, you know, their question and it will give them whatever. But this is one way, you know, I mean, there's many other ways on controlling cheating, and there's a whole workshop on just, you know, how to avoid. But right here is so easy. Nobody does an assignment in 30 seconds, you know, 1 second, 2 seconds. I mean, in this very platform, you know, in this course, so there's some, you know, like a snake. And there's some things which you expect them to take 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. And then all of a sudden I see that it was done in, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm like, oh, gee, I wonder how long it takes you to cut and paste, which you could disable as well, but I'll tell you why I don't. But anyways, that's really easy way to control it. There's others, the history tab is also really useful. This is useful for them because they can see all the changes that they've made. And sometimes they like, oh, well, it was working when I had it. I'm like, well, go back to when it was working, make that your recent code and forget everything else you did and try a different approach. So they have that history and conversation. This is where you can talk to that individual student about the code they're working on. It's also very helpful. And well, now you have the AI hints, which you can also give to them. All right. I mean, that's like the platform, okay? Then obviously grading, but I hardly grade from here. I do it from the gradebook because it's easier for me, but you can do that. This just goes over the assignment. This is for them to check their code. So when they try something, they check the code and say, well, this is missing this or it's missing that. So we'll see that live when you're working on it. Let me go back. And I just wanted to show you the platform, okay? The assignments, making sure, let me check on the, here, make sure that I didn't get over, I think. Yeah, now we're gonna do a sample lesson, okay? I was like, so go back. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit. This is what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna do a lesson together, okay? And then we're gonna see different ways of doing as a teacher, different modes of doing it, okay? So this is, before I even get there though, let me tell you a little bit about who is Carol, okay? Carol's the dog. This is the most basic introduction to programming. Like almost all the courses start with a little bit of Carol, and it's great because the kids fall in love with the dog and they, it's just a simple introduction, not scary. It doesn't have as much syntax as actual JavaScript will, but it still starts teaching them some of the basic syntax. And Carol's a dog and he just listens to commands. And he has this world, with this little streets and this avenues, and he can move through it. All right. He can put a ball and he can take a ball. That's pretty much all he knows how to do. He knows how to move. He knows how to turn left, put a ball, take a ball. Now, syntax is very important, right? You can't do lowercase, right? It's very important to tell them that because they don't understand why. If they write turn left and the L is not capitalized, no, it has to be capitalized. So starts teaching them those habits. It's really fun to actually have kids act out Carol if you have enough room, or I just go on the whiteboard and I make the world and I have my little magnet and I said, okay, to make this guy move, and just call them up there, but just make them understand that the dog is only going to do these 4 things, okay? No spaces in the commands. They need to match the exact capitalization. That's what I was talking about. And every command ends with the parentheses and your semicolon here, right? So when they start having issues, this is always what I look at. You have the parentheses that you have all these things. Okay, now I want to go over here. We're going to do this live. It's not the pancakes one first, right? I'm going with, yes, this is your first Carol one. It's going to be right here. So this is what it starts like, and they have to make it look like this, exactly like this. Pay attention to like the way he's facing. That's kind of important. because if they turn left or something. So I'm gonna actually, no, oh wait, I can make it small. There we go. So we need him to move there. So we're just gonna go move. And you want to make sure you put parentheses. See, it's red. Why is it red? Because I am missing my semicolon, right? So it really helps them to learn. I want him to move again. Want to move again. Right? And you can start like, okay, let's see what happens. Oh, he's not where I need him to be. What must I do? Oh, wait, move one more. Okay. And now it's telling me right here, this is the things he knows how to do. Oh, I need to take ball. And some of the students will just do that. That's okay. And then you run it and you see, oh, perfect. Nice job. Okay. This makes the go slower or faster. So in longer care, when you don't know where he's stuck, I tell him go slow. Okay. And again, you can look now at the history. Oh, that's when I was missing one. Okay. Also, by looking at the history, you can see the logic in their progression. Oh, yeah, okay, they had 3, then they had 1, and then they had this. That's another way to know that they're understanding, that they're not just copying their friends, etc. All right. There's nothing to test here because he does it, but that's what they want to see, all the green check marks.
Carmen, we have a question from someone. They want to know if you recommend having blocks available for students transitioning from Scratch.
That's a really good question. I do not like blocks on this course. Computing ideas, I love blocks, but I tell you why. I'm using this course to prepare them for the AP course. Most of them, all of them. So blocks just don't. I want them to start learning from the beginning, to start typing the syntax, that the stuff, because it's for JavaScript. JavaScript is not going to be in blocks, which eventually will move to Java. So no, at this course, I don't recommend the blocks. Yeah, I want them to start learning I do, and these are things that they can be acted out. Like if you have it on the board, go with them. And if you look at the video, obviously I kind of just went through it, but it depends how you teach. If you're going to teach it as a class, like with all the students in the same course and you want to lecture, you can go to the slides. All right. And it's basically what I kind of was telling you about, right? And it goes through the commands. So that's if you want to do it that way. And you can edit this if you wanted to. I believe you can download the slides somewhere, right? I'm pretty sure I did somewhere. All right. So that's kind of what I went through earlier. But that's right there. So you have slides and then you have video. And I'll tell you sometimes why I use YouTube video. If I have international students where English is just not their first language and it's hard for them, if they go to YouTube, they can do subtitles in almost any language, So that's one reason to go on YouTube. Otherwise, CodeHS is obviously going to be faster, I think, and less stuff around. But if you go on YouTube, you have all the YouTube tools right here. I'm not going to play that. It's somewhere in here, yeah. Subtitles. They're not perfect, but it helps them. To translate in literally any language. So it's very helpful. So I'm very grateful that they have the option of YouTube. Again, I don't use the slideshow very much because I have multiple courses. So I let them assign the videos, right? And I tell them, you have to bring earbuds to my class. Like that's something you gotta do. And there's a little quiz. Okay, so which of these is valid? I just love this because it reinforces what they need to know. And how you grade those quizzes, like on the gradebook, you can sort of separate and grade them like in a different category. I just put them as homework points because for me, it's just for them to learn. I'll give them a test, a unit test at the end, where I give those outside of the platform. So, this is one of the examples where they can see it. And this is where, like, see how fast, you know, I want it to go slower, and then you can see, oh, it's going there, it's going there. You can go even more slow. It's moving, move. Now it's putting the ball. Now it's moving. This is amazing. I'm telling you, this is going to help so much when they get stuck on the longer problems. To be able to do this and to learn, for them to learn to do it. You can pause it. There's all kinds of tools right here. And this is an example. You get the idea. Okay. Back. I have to keep track of time, and I'm not very good at that. But we went through this, all right? And students have learned the basics, okay? They've learned the syntax of the most basic way to move a command, and that the dog is not going to do anything unless you tell them to do it. Now, if you are doing it as as one class where you're lecturing, it's fun for you to go in your sandbox, which we'll show you in a minute, and just make it do all the things, you know, just so they can see how the commands work. It can be fun. Oh, no, I just did that. All right. Once they understand that, now the next thing they understand is function structure, all right? And the first function they get is the main function. All right. Why is it so important? Because as they're going to, when they get into the first unit of the actual JavaScript, if they forget to write this main at the bottom, nothing works. And they're like, why is my code not running? I'm like, you forgot the main. So the longer you can stress this structure right here, the better. So if we look at it again, let me go back. Where's my name? Yeah. Well, I already have it open. Okay. This one's a fun one too. Define your, there you go, yes. So functions. Functions are a concept. Actually, I think I'm just going to do it. What I had it open. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Some students have a really hard time understanding a function. Like they'll write a function, but then they'll still write the code over and over. So what is a function? I like to use the comparison with a recipe. I said, look, a function tells your code what to do every time you call this. I said, you know, my friends love my cookies. It's a lie. I bake terribly, but I tell them the story. And I say, now, every time someone tells me, you know, hey, so how do you make these cookies? I could go through this. I say, well, I put dough, then I do this. I try all these 4 steps over and over. Or I can say, look, I have the recipe. I'm going to send it to you. And then they can just look at it when they're going to do it. That's kind of what you're telling your code. You write a function somewhere below, and then you call it, you're telling them to use it. You don't have to keep writing it. You just call it. That helps a little bit. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Another way of teaching functions is like if you want to do it live in the classroom, When you go back to writing this on the board, and you cannot demonstrate, well, this is how you do it. Like tell him to, do something that he didn't know how to do before, like turn right. This is the first thing the first function they're gonna learn. All right, is turn right. But you'll see them seriously like writing the function and still typing turn left, turn left, turn left. So, all right, what are we doing in this one? All right, Carol is the waiter. He needs to deliver a stack of pancakes to the guests on the second, the fourth, and the sixth columns. Each stack of pancakes should have 3 pancakes. You're going to make a function called make pancakes to help Sarah solve this problem. The world should end up exactly like this. Okay, I'm just going to show you the solution because I forgot to show you that it's something else you have here. You don't. That's they put it here. That's okay. I'm sorry about that. I should have plugged in here. That's different than what I see. I'm sorry. I'll go back. I'll just write it. Actually, I'll just show you. Another thing you have is the solutions page. Just don't want to have to type everything right now. And here's everything. Okay, this is what I want to show you. So they have to make the function, okay? They already learned the basic structure of a function with the main function. So it always has the parentheses, the bracket, the commands that that's going to do every time you call it and you close it. Then move, right? Make pancakes. It's going to be put ball, put ball, put ball. Then you move, and you can see this run. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's start. They can do this too, right? They can find this on the internet. That's why you want to look at the history and the time. But I just, for our sake. All right, if we make it run, look how slow it's running. They see that every time they see the code says make pancakes, it's jumping up to the function, right? Call a recipe for them at first. All right, that's very useful to do this in front of the class. I like the longer you can spend on just making sure they all understand what a function is, the smoother the course will go. Okay, make pancakes, okay? Put ball, put ball, put ball. And if they're wrong, right, this one is all good, but what if I'm missing this one? What if I don't call it here? Oh, your code doesn't make pancakes enough times. It's helping them, right? So it's really, I get them to use the check code and the docs as much as possible. So they learn to debug their code, which is a great skill to have as the programs get harder. I will pause for a second. Are there any questions? I know I move a little fast sometimes. Are we all good?
We are all caught up on questions right now.
Awesome. Okay. So we just made it, okay? Now let's go to the sandbox. Do this now, okay? Now I want you to go on your code. If you go to your course, you'll see sandbox, okay? This is a very important thing to teach the students as well. You're going to go to create program. And we're doing Carol. So, the JavaScript. Where's Carol? Simple Carol. Here we go. what's nice about the sandbox is that it's a sandbox, right? They can practice anything they want. They can add more codes. What happens when I do this? What happens when I do that? So I just want you to go in your sandbox and just make Harold do anything. Just make him move to the left and put a ball, make him put 10 balls, make him do something, okay? I'll give you a few minutes to play. And I'll show you as a teacher, guess what? You can view your class's sandbox. I can see what you're doing. I'll give you a few minutes.
That's a good thing to point out. Lots of times teachers ask us if they can see what sandbox programs their students have created.
Yeah, and I go here a lot too, because sometimes I assign pair programming or things like that where they have to use a sandbox. So when you get to evasion, they have to use a sandbox. So yeah, this is a very useful. Just get out to play around, that's all. And it's fun, just sometimes students will, if they finish or whatever, I always tell them, we'll go in the sandbox and make something funny, they love it. I've seen one they love to do is where they put a ball and then Carol and then the ball and they're like, we made a sandwich. Also with the sandbox, if you make an assignment where you tell them go to the sandbox, but that's and do something that's something that, well, with AI they could cheat with anything these days. You still want to look at all the tools for making sure they're not cheating. And it's not that the kids want to cheat, sometimes they just get stressed out and it's the easy way out. Let you play around for a few minutes.
So as a reminder for participants, Carmen is just asking that you go up to the sandbox on the top left and choose to create a new program and use Carol and just create any type of a program. And then she's going to show you how, as a teacher, you can go in and see those sandbox programs. And then if you have any questions for Carmen, you can type them into the web chat.
Okay. So hopefully you had a chance to just make him do a few things. And I showed you how to, I'm not going to put you on the spot. Don't worry. I won't open any of your codes, but let's go back to this. Okay. I don't think I need my cookie recipe anymore. So drop pancakes. Okay. Now here it says Google Classroom. Sorry. When I do the sandbox, I just go in. I showed you how to go and look at it. So I just look. And we have an LMS at my school. We use Schoology. So sometimes I just put let's say.
We do have one question while you're in the sandbox from Mark. He's asking if the sandbox allows for collaborative programming in JavaScript like it does in Python.
Yes, it certainly does. It's one of my favorite features. So you go to share and you can see collaborate. Now, this is something, because when I ask them to do pair programming, right, they'll do this and they forget to have to teach collaborate in order to do that. Yes, they can definitely do that. I usually ask them to invite me as well, just something so I can see their chat. Easier, but yes. Yes, certainly. I use programming, not all the time, just because my kids are kind of paced, their own pace sometimes, but there are a few where I absolutely say you have to, and then I go check the sandbox and see. So these are some of the things we've learned, right? What are the commands that he knows, and what can he learn, right, with functions? Functions can teach Carol all kinds of tricks. Now, homework, again, if you're running in a more traditional way and you want to give homework, this is there. There's all these offline handouts that CodeHS provides. Now, there's many ways to use these handouts other than as homework, okay? I like to use them. Sometimes I take some of this and put them in my test, believe it or not. I've used some of the handout questions to put on test. I sometimes use this in class to do it together, just to show more exercises. And sometimes I just tell them, like, you have to do this handout, and then they fill it out in class. But it's a supplemental, but it's beautiful. Let me show you where they are. So if you go to your toolbox, all right, or actually you don't even have to go there anymore. Let me go back to right here. You have lesson plans, which I forgot to ask. Resources. And there you go. Handouts is the first thing. Oh, don't know why it's in my cybersecurity. No, it went back to good. And there's all the handouts. So, and while we're here, it does also give you lesson plans, by the way. Some of you have to turn those in, like teachers at my school have to do. They're all here. I'll open one just so you see it. I mean, it walks you right through how to run it in many different ways. So the CodeHS also provides a syllabus. And the beauty of all these tools is that you as a teacher can just focus on making sure that, these kids are actually understanding the content. And that if it's your first time with JavaScript, this is good for you to focus on getting ahead. I knew JavaScript, but like when I taught the web design, I had to kind of keep one ahead just to make sure. All right. And this just goes over what I've said. You can teach through the slides. You can add your own slides. You can have them watch the videos individually at home or in class. I do it in class just because my electives, and the only class I give homework to is my AP class. The rest I don't like to give homework. I have enough homework in the early classes. So, you can watch the video in class and discuss. You can, many ways to do it. I tell them to play with the examples now, and I look when I'm grading, I look that they viewed the examples, and when I go to help them, when they call me because they're stuck, there's several things I do. First I make sure that they looked at the examples. I'm like, did you look at them? I make them open it. I make them look at the docs, kind of like, even though I know the answer, obviously, I'm still making do all this for the next time they know. And then another thing I do, and it's silly, and I wanted to give it to you, but I bought it from that teachers pay teachers thing, but I have this little jetty, the blue monster, whatever. And the first day of class, I said, programming is all about being jetties. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, when you get stuck, you don't say, I don't know the solution. You have to say, I don't know the solution yet, but I will, right? Because it's trial and error. They have to get into that. You have to try again, and try again. So some kids that doesn't come naturally to them. They just, some growth mindset thing, right? They just get stuck and then like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. Blah, blah, blah. And you put all that negativity away, but you're like, not yet. I'm not yet, but I will. So, but, I also thought of going with the Jedi, but it didn't work as well, especially with my accent. the beauty of the CodeHS platform is that you can definitely you could add discussion questions to it. So let me show you how to do that, because that is really easy. Let me go back to one of the courses. So if you go to assignments view, we're perfect, I'm already there. I can add a new assignment right here. And it could just be like free response, right? You could just say reflect on what you have learned. Add plain text. Just really easy. And just a poem, right? What did you learn about Peril? What did it teach you? How programs work? Any question, obviously. But if you save it, that's it. No, okay. There it is. See how easy that was to add just a. Now, in some of my courses, like I make them keep a journal. Like when I do Roblox, I made them keep like a design journal. And that's how I did it. I just add questions here you could even upload a template to this. There's many ways, but as easy as Hardy, because it's all how you want to run it. And that's the beauty of it. We couldn't do the breakouts, right? Can we, Robin, or not?
If you want to have them take a couple of minutes to look at a lesson plan.
Yeah, okay.
And then and then either share out in the chat, that would be cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome. There you go. Just gonna look at the lesson and then see if you have any questions and just put them in the chat room. That way we take a break. And this is basically what's gonna get you through. Or if you want to go to an actual, the lesson plan that I was showing you, this might be the best way to do it. And just giving you an opportunity to look through the things and see what questions you may have or ideas or. I'll open up the chat. I'm not sure. You love my yet. Yeah. Yes, Java and JavaScript are two different, I know, but JavaScript, it's like you can run this intro to programming can be run in Python or in JavaScript. Python is definitely easier, but I choose JavaScript because it prepares them to learn Java later. Like there's some similarities in those two different languages. That's why I chose JavaScript. Sorry about my Teams broken up. I just can't turn it off. And feel free to just put here in the chat any thoughts that you have on the lesson. Just want to give you a little break for your brain to catch up sometimes, right? So much information. There's so many tools, you know, and I really encourage you to, if this is your first time with CodeHS, to look at some of those other courses, webinars that they do, and just all the different tools. I really like the one on how to control plagiarism and cheating, you know, honesty. You can see there's a lot of things. Oh, data tracking. That's the one I was going to show you. So besides attendance, now data tracking, I'm pretty sure there's a pro thing, but let me get out of the sandbox. On the dashboard, click on your page here. And if you have Pro, you can do real-time dashboard. This is this is usually the page that I go to. That's it. And you can see who's working exactly on what time they were last active, and the live feed of stuff that they've been submitting and completing. This is great because I give participation points, and I base it a lot on here. When they're off task, when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they lose participation points. And then from here, if they're stuck, if you click, you can go straight to where they're on and see why they're stuck and what's going on, you know? So this is a very, very nice tool. You can also, okay, I tried focus mode. It's not something that I would use because of the way I run it, but I wanted to know what it did, so I did to my AP kids. And basically, it makes everyone be on that page, on that exercise. It's amazing. They try to get away. Okay, that's why I did it with the AP kids. I'm like, okay, try to go to a different lesson. They could not. They were stuck on the assignment I wanted them to be on, which could be brilliant if you're actually teaching, you know, like you want to show it to them or you want to. That's what this will do, just so you know. It's almost like lockdown browser kind of, but not, you know, they could open other tabs somewhere else, but in CodeHS, they were stuck there. But look at all this, and seriously, there's so much for you to look at. Another thing I look at is on the progress by lesson, by assignment. Because I'm a very visual person. So this, you'll see what it looks like. It shows you, right, where the students are, how far advanced, right? So if my lesson is due, you know, on Friday, and I see that most students are like over here, and I have a couple kids over here or over here, and they're really struggling or what, something's going on. I gotta have a conversation. So why are they so behind? So it's another very helpful thing. All the different views, you know, that you have. Thank you, Stephanie. That was the one.
It
Yeah,
looks like we've hit 12 o'clock. Why don't we
Oh,
take, Carmen, if you're okay, if we take a short 10-minute break and then start back up again in 10 minutes?
sure, no problem. Okay.
Awesome. Let's do that. So we'll see everybody back in about 10 minutes. Take a quick break. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Our 10-minute break is up. Carmen is getting set up again. Make sure if you have any questions to type them in the chat for Carmen. And then if you have any CodeHS questions that you can type those into the Q&A. And we are going to go ahead and get back started.
All right. Before I go to functions and parameters, there is a couple of things more that I want to say about Carol. And that's control structures, okay, like for loops, if else, and while loops. It is so important that they understand the concepts right here with Carol before you get them into JavaScript. So the more you can stress this, the better. And you could do a little bit of fun with it. So I just have to say there's one that with while loops, I always tell them it's a dog. Don't get him exhausted by making him, run infinitely. So there's one that they always do it. I'm trying to find it. It's a big square. This one. Yes. Now this one only puts one in each. So there's a version of this where they have to put. It's one of these. Yeah. Anyways, just yeah, this one, check for understanding which control, like this is such a great little quiz. Just to really understand the difference between the while, the for, and the whole if else thing. No, I'm sorry. Should have thought of that earlier, but and then the Carol challenge. Oh, maybe it's one. Yes, it's one. It's one. Yeah, right. This is a race. Yes. Here, so you'll see them, and they if they don't use the while structure correctly, it starts going. It just starts going infinitely. So it's a great one to go teach them with this concepts. All right, enough of Carol. I promise I can move on out of Carol, and we go to JavaScript basics. Okay, we're going to go to functions and parameters, right? Where is I can't find it. I knew. All right, well, let's just start with this one. I just want to go into JavaScript. I just want to show you the difference of the lessons, okay? It's functions and parameters. It's actually a really good one. Where can I find it? There's functions. Oh, here it is. All right. Again, you can go video, you can go slides, right? Depends how you're going to teach it. But this is another one that's critical because when they go to make their own works, right? Their own coding, their own games, we go back to, now they should know what a function is, right? Just from Carol. But what Carol doesn't do, and what any of them then is put in a parameter in the function. And see, it's going to walk through it. Did I not go? Yeah. And we're going to practice with one of them, but I really, here we go. this is what the parameters, right? This is what's really new about them. The function that actually carries a parameter. You have function keyword, you have the name, and then up to now, the parentheses has always been empty. We're about to change that, parameters. This is another one of those concepts that it just takes them a while sometimes. But, you know, CodeHS does an amazing job getting it through and repeat, right? So yeah, make the cake is, now look, the recipe. That's where I got it from. But you have the cake type and you have a flavor, you have the pizza and you have the toppings. You know, there's so many different ways to do this. And I just want us to look at it in the, it can be a parameter, it can be a hard number, it can be anything. Yes. So let's go to, you have another one. This one's just a video, so I can't play it. Well, I guess we could play a little bit. Yes, 3 minutes.
For this video, I don't think we're able to hear your audio.
Well, it's okay.
Okay.
But it's just a great, I thought this one, I love this live coding ones because they can see it happening, you know? Which of course you can do this in class as well, but yeah, I think I have to go to my settings and Zoom or something and reshare. But I don't want to waste too much time either. But there's a little quiz. If you guys want to try it, you have access to this, okay? So, but I want us to actually do some of the cityscape. I'm just giving you a few hints here because this is one where they always get stuck on the light on top. And really, I don't know why solutions is not right here. Like I'm used to it. Maybe, and I'm just gonna, you can use control fine as well, you know. But I'll show you something on cityscape. And this is, you know, this is something that they're going to take a long time on. But see these lights in the circle, like it has to be perfectly centered on the building, and they don't always realize that. So it's over here, and they're like, why is it not letting me pass? You know, I have it exactly. I'm like, well, not really exactly. So for all the graphics one, because this is what I love about the platform. It's, you know, a lot of it is graphics, and I tell them to take out graphing paper. I'm like, draw your thing, you know, figure out how you're going to know these things. And that really helps them. Like, what do you know? What do you know? No, kind of like they use the math problems, you know. These are the things you know about your rectangle. These are the things you know about the canvas. This is what you know. What don't you know? And how do you get there? If they can do that on a separate paper and they can see it, then when they get to programs like this, it's a lot easier. Honestly, without doing that, they just won't get it quite right. Because as you can see, a lot of it is build an x plus this building divided by 2 minus. It's not going to come natural unless they're seeing it in a piece of paper or, you know, graphing paper is what I tell them to use. That's just a tip on my end. There's a few like this, okay? Some are just easier, you know? Like this one's not too bad. But I think I was going to walk you through the first one. Did I lose my? Uh-oh. I have closed down the slideshow. Of course I did. Oh, sorry about that. Let me open it. Oh, sorry. Go now to my. Is this the right one? No. Sorry about this. I'm just gonna make sure I'm on the right one. Yes.
I think we're around slide 37 or so.
Okay. Just gonna go ahead. Example, that was the number. I knew there was one I was going to do. And I showed you earlier, you can just search for any assignment up here, any activity, anything. So I'm going to put it to practice. Of course, it's not called that. There we go. No, and it's not here. All right, well, let's just go in the. It's okay. We can just do this in the sandbox as well. It's a good thing I didn't delete this slide. But function start, okay, again, the whole idea of the main and all that stuff, okay? Why don't I just pick a different one that's actually here? Yeah. This one's pretty simple. All right. Write a function called print triangle area that computes and prints the area of a triangle given its base and height, then call the function at least 2 times in the main function. Okay, the formula for an area of a triangle is area equals half the base times height. And it's giving you, like, for example, like they know that it's going to have to take parameters, right? And look at the quick docs, right? First and second are the parameters, first and second, function sum. This is for summing, right? This is a sum. It's a good example. But what do they need to do? It's going to have to multiply, right? So again, I don't want to, I don't type very fast. That's why I just want to show you that. Let's go to my triangle. This is very simple. All right, so this is it. The function they have to write, this is the very first one. It's literally 2 lines of real, code. Up here is just calling it. Base times height, right? They just have to follow it, right? Base times height, but I need half of it, so I'm going to divide it by 2, right? And then I'm going to print that into my area, okay? And then I just call it. Now, when you call it, again, they have to remember that now they're going to use real numbers up here. These are just concepts that, once they do it a few times, it kind of goes through it. But I'm telling you, most of them will try to do it without writing a function. They're like, oh, I know how to do this. This is easy. Area equals. The whole point is to make them write the function. And don't worry, the test cases will. So let's get something wrong. Let's do plus. I check my code. Oh, it's giving you 10. What are you doing? Something is wrong. I mean, it's not giving you 10. All right, so they know they have to, something's really wrong with my math because my style is very nice. So, Beautiful. All right. So this is very simple one to start with. Any questions on this one? I know it's kind of jumping in the middle of the course. So if you don't know JavaScript, this might be like, what are you doing? But
No questions yet.
okay, perfect. I can keep going then. All right. The other one I want to show you. I'm just going to skip this one. Okay. Oh boy. Collaborative programming. Here we go. That's your turn. Square and triple. I kind of just did a couple of you for you. So you can work in pairs in the sandbox, but give it a try and try to do, let's just try to do, I just did triangle. Let's do rainbows. Well, just make one up, I suppose. If you, we did one that did the area. Oh yeah, so make the area of a square or do one that triples the numbers. Pick one of those. On the sandbox though, these are not actual assignments.
I don't know if you wanted to create a sandbox program and
then share it.
Collaborate, and then we can
Oh,
put
then we can all go in it. That's
right in the chat. Yeah, then everybody could type in.
Perfect. Okay. Now we're in JavaScript, okay? I'm gonna rename it. Let's just call it area of a circle. How about that? Let's go circle. And now I can share this with a collaboration. Can you grab the, oh, enable? Okay. Can I put this in the chat or Robin, do you want to do it?
Yeah, you can go ahead and copy it and paste it right in there. All right, let me click on it and we'll see if I can get in here.
That's fine.
Yep.
It's awesome.
I see some other people in here.
Perfect.
So I don't know if you want to give them the directions and tell them what to do.
So let's make a circle. So let's make a program, right? Let's mimic this, right? A function that calls the print area of a circle that computes and prints the area of a circle given its diameter. Here we are. Here we are. So we'll just do this. There we go. Did I make it too hard? Okay. I guess I should remember what the formula is for the area of a circle. It's okay to look it up. I thought it was just the diameter times. Yeah, pi times radius, that's what I thought. No. And you can just use 3.14 for pi. Perfect. I did diameter to make it easier. It's okay if you need to keep going back to the other one.
Yeah, or I don't know if you wanted to walk them through or give them something
Okay.
easier.
Okay.
Although I do see some people are trying it out.
Yeah,
But
you are doing it. I mean, so yes, I would go just to keep it simple, right? Just you could make it a constant and someone try, but since we didn't introduce constants. All right, I can't even. Okay. Pi times diameter divided by 2. Yeah, I would go let radius equals d divided by 2. Yes, actually, but then very good, Mila, very good. Very good. Now he's using return, all right? We want to print it, so I would use console log in this one. Yes, I would not return it. I would just say area equals, yeah. Yeah, they're going at it. Very good. But we want to say is what we want to say is let, I love it, you guys are playing with that, equals. And now what do we need to do? Console log area, there you go. Put that back up there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now this, we actually have to use it, right? So we would go back up. Just like we did here, right? We actually want our main function. Right, so we call the area circle, so. So what would we do up here? Area, right? Let's call the function. We're gonna go area, circle, and then we need to basically give it a diameter. Let's go 8, all right? And then you could try another one. Now, before I run this, what am I missing? Because this is what kids do this all the time, and they're like, mine doesn't work. Something's wrong with CodeHS. Can anyone notice what I'm missing here? That's right. That's right. Add the main, called the main method. So put your parentheses and the semicolon. Perfect. Now if we run this, oh, okay, the circle's not defined. Function. Missing enough. Oh, no, we have a defined function area. underscore. Did I not spell circle? What did I misspell? I obviously misspelled it. Oh, thank you. There we go. Spelling is important. Okay. Beautiful. So you can see, and you can see the beauty of programming together, right, with the kids. You can see the chat. Because you can actually chat while you're in the program, like the kids can, you know, like everyone that's working on a program has a chat box. That's also very useful. I love it. I do try to use collaboration a lot. And you can not have the chat, obviously, if it becomes troublesome, but they know I see it, so they've never tried to use it for anything other in this case. So beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You guys want to do another one? We can. I kind of guided you. Can we run it? Yes. Here we go. I did. 50 and 28. There's a chat if you want it, but okay, is there a way to round? Oh, yes, there is. Certainly there is. Okay. I just didn't want to make it too complicated, but yes. Okay. There's like many ways to round up. You can cut it. You can do all kinds of things. All right. I want to go back to. Yes. Okay. Let's go to. This one you have to have done the rainbow before, so let's go to another one. Is it even? Oh my goodness. I know this one. Okay, this is a great example because there's one concept that is also extremely helpful to show the students. Because first of all, they have to understand, right, what is an even number, right? And how can I check that it's an even number? So it goes back to one of the things that they need to learn is modulus. And they learned that earlier on in the program. So yeah, why don't we do this in the chat? Why don't we do this together? That's a good idea. I'll throw it in the sandbox. I can go back to this one. Let's just delete our circle. Wow, you guys already ahead of me. So what I was gonna try to show you, the first thing is, what is an even number, right? I make the kids know this, right? So I know that it's an even number, right? That when I divide it by 2, right, there's no remainder. So the mod is this one. I'm just gonna write. Right, so is this the percent? So if I say, for example, let even, now this is just an example, okay, but equals number mod, right? You need an if, okay? No, mod 2. Sorry. Equals 0. Now you can't really type it like this, but what am I telling here? You're needing an if, but when a number is divided by 2, mod gives you the remainder. So the remainder has to be equals 0. That's how I know I have an even number. So this here, this mod by 2, to do even and odd, to do black and white, to do 1 and 2, is such a critical piece of code. I have it almost on my tests after they've learned modulus. I put a question where they need to know this because they need that to alternate, to do all kinds of things. So that's why is it even is really good. So this is basically what an even number is, okay? And we could even do this. Like, I can put that as a comment, okay? Oops. So we know that that's what I want. So now in a function, I'm taking a number, right? So let's put X. Go ahead. So how do take it? You guys take it. I don't want it to just give me an even number, right? I want to know if X is an even number. So I don't just want to return it. I'm going to need an if loop in here, okay? I'm going to need an if, okay? And I'll go ahead and just give it to you so I don't have to type in. I can find my, no, find that. Okay. So I need today if, right? So I need to say let even what? I need an if in there. I'll give it to you. I don't know why I lose it all the time. Here is, oh, well, you're right, it's just returning it. You got to enter it. Oh boy, this one is better than the number to enter this. Here we go. If this is true, right, then it's even. Otherwise, it isn't. So you're going to enter the number. That's num, okay? If it equals 0, forget it. We're not going to go anywhere. Now, it's even, that's your function. All it does is check, right? Return x equal 2. So it's going to do that. If it's true, it's even. Otherwise, it's odd. And then that's done. All right. That's one way to do it. That's right. You need a main function. Let's run it. Oh, not giving me anything. Why? There you go. Yeah, you're missing it. They're awesome. You're missing another part. There you go. It's true. All right. But X can be num, right? It can be entered. It used, because we're very advanced in the course, it's actually using, asking the user for the number and all these things. But the beauty of parameters and the beauty of learning this, I just want to make sure that this is something that you really stress on them. Okay. There's a great handout here, Dancing with Parameters, which I will find the link for you. I'm not sure that's the right link. Is it?
I think I put the correct link in the chat. Hopefully it's the right one.
Perfect. This is a great exercise. Now, can they all edit this now? If they go there? It should be, right? Yes. No. Student view. You can only view this document.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't be able to edit this. They would just have to make their own copy if that's something that they wanted to.
Okay, well, it's all right. It's just a fun one, okay? So functions and parameters, lesson 1. When creating programs, we want to avoid having to rewrite code. We've already written, okay, that's functions. But if we have several functions that contain a lot of the same code, here's the whole parameters, helps us count down the number of new functions. We could do this just in a I don't have a lot of time left, so I don't want to, but this is a great handout. Okay, I want to make sure I leave questions. I just noticed the time. And again, the handouts, you can give those to them to do as homework. You can add them in a test. You can use them in class. Everything is the same. Debug an example together. And again, sandbox for pair coding really is amazing. Pair programming really helps. Okay, I don't think we have time for that one, so. Because I really want to get to this. So one of the things I wanted to show you, actually, yeah, 1 minute before this, but forget this, is how to individualize content. There's one area that I really want you to learn. So if I go back to my dashboard, all right, and I'm in my class, there's several things you can do. First of all, on course settings, access controls. This allows you to make a thing available or not available or scheduled. Okay, so that's really good. And you can see, you can even go to each individual level. All right. So that's very useful. The other thing is assign. This is how you can individualize content. You can see that all this thing has been assigned to everyone, right? But if I can now go to my dashboard again, and I go to an assignment, well, I went too far. Like that cityscape, for example, like that's a hard one, okay? Let's try that to use them. Oh, go back once. Right here. See, there's assigned, so you assigned it to everyone, right? But if you come here, it's assigned to the whole class. But you can now say, well, I know that it's too hard for Anthony, so I'm going to not assign it to Anthony. Or I'm not going to assign it to Christina. So this is one way you can individualize everything. And they don't know, they don't know that you've made their course a little bit different than the other ones. Okay. Similarly, if it was unassigned to everyone, you can say, well, I want to assign it to this student and to that student. Now, this is a pro feature, but I tell you, I use this a lot because kids just have different abilities and some move faster than others. And I want the course to, to not be, I don't want kids to be bored, and I don't want kids to feel overchallenged, like this is too hard for me. So that's one way to individualize content. And you can, so when I told you that some of these are really difficult, I can tell you this one, practice, functions practice one. Oh, it's gone. It was really hard. or like data structures. I always use data structures. Like I always assign these data structures because I want them to be introduced to arrays and maps before they go into AP next year. But some of them are really hard, so I use the individualized thing. Another one that I can tell you, oh, actually, that's the one. A snake. Oh, my beautiful snake. All right, this is just a simple one, right? Just very simple snake. That's not the one I was looking for, of course. I thought it was in the extra. There's one where they have to make a complete snake game, and I know I assign it, but I was going to show you my trick before. Do I have to have questions? Because I show you why it's really good to do it. I think this might be here. But these are really hard, but that's not the one. Yeah, snake game. Here we go. This one. So this assignment is really hard, okay, to make the entire snake. And so I don't actually expect kids to, all of the kids to figure it out. But why do I assign it? Because I let them see this, like I let them struggle with it a little bit. And then I let them see the solution videos. Again, this is only a pro feature, but if you do have it, they have these videos where it walks through the solution for each of the snake levels, which I share with them after I've let them try for a little bit and we will kind of work together. But it teaches them a lot of really good things that they will then need when they want to make their own game. So the final project in this course is make your own game. And by doing this, by going through Snake, it teaches them a lot of things that they will then be able to use in their own game. So even though it's very challenging for most of them to do, it does have a purpose. So, all right. Now I will take, I only have 5 minutes left, sorry, but any questions on anything? Sorry, I kind of went a little bit. Is there a way to print handouts for the unit all at once? Yeah, that's not the word I make it. I don't know. I always done it one at a time. But then I don't use Google Classroom, so I have to move them over to my office OneDrive. So yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Wow. Oh, you had, wow, and AI took notes. This is amazing. Thank you. Any more questions?
I'll let you guys keep typing your questions in the chat for Carmen if you have any questions about what she does in her classroom or how she uses JavaScript and CodeHS. Also, I did pop some links in the chat for you. One of the links was if you want to learn more about Pro. I know Carmen mentioned a few of our Pro features. Of course, free is always free. Maybe it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it definitely has our curriculum, which is amazing if you want to use that. But if you can get Pro or you want to learn more about it, there's a link there. And then also I did put a link in for a survey that you can take about this professional development. And I also put in a link for you to register for some more. So we do have several more sessions coming this summer. So feel free to take a look at those and sign up for anything that you are interested in. We'll wait just a couple minutes to see if anybody has any questions for Carmen. If not, thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Do you want me to go through the end slides here or? Just
Yeah, you can put those up if you want. I did put the links in the chat though.
yeah, and the Facebook group is great, by the way.
Yeah, the Facebook group is really good. So if you guys are on Facebook at all, a bunch of teachers are in that group helping each other throughout the year.
And look, I didn't talk about AI a lot, but if your school does provide an AI for you, like we bought school AI for the school. I did it actually, but anyway, um, but a lot of them can whatever. And you can make, or even if you just have ChatGPT, you can make like a debugging AI. So what I did is I said, okay, my students are learning JavaScript. They are in 10th and 11th grade. I want you to help them debug code, but do not give them the answer. So it becomes like a tutor mode, and that can also be a helpful for them, especially if it's more an independent way of working. But, and then you also have the AI hints, that you can use it like a stack instead of just, but that whole yet, like yet, I don't know it yet, but I will. It's the key for them not to give up.
Mark, I did put some information in there for you about the alternate exercises. And if you're not familiar, the alternate exercises are exercises that are very similar to the original ones, but maybe if one of our exercise solutions has shown up online somewhere and you would like to use the alternate exercise for it instead, that is super helpful.
Yes.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming. We have 2 minutes left. If you want to hang out and you have any questions for Carmen or for us at CodeHS, let us know. We'll hang out for another 2 minutes with you. Otherwise, have a great week and thank you for coming, and don't forget to register for some more events.